Here is a Spanish tile roof. There are other names for this roof depending who you speak to. This is on Franklin Place in Metuchen. This roof has been up for a very long time on the house, and close to 100 years has developed a number of broken tiles, little pieces, large pieces, a couple of missing tiles here and there, and there was quite a few various leaks entering into the house. Now, you'll notice in the valleys, when this house roof was first installed, normally you might have copper or tin or other materials in the open valley, which initially is waterproof. But again, depending upon the materials and how many decades or 100 years that we're talking about, the valleys eventually start leaking. Now, the proper way to do things, if we are in a society where money is meaningless, is to remove the Spanish tile or the terracotta tile all around from both sides of the valley, maybe 1.5 feet or so from the center out in both directions. Reline the valley with new material and put the tiles back. Extremely time consuming, extremely expensive. So the homeowner, because of the age of the roof, which is old, agreed to do it, let's say, the incorrect way, but it'll do the job and it's cheap. It's just put tar in the valleys. Now, I'm in agreement that it doesn't look beautiful, but it does the job and it's cheap. This homeowner probably in the next 5 or 10 years is going to tear off this roof and redo the roof, so we're not worried too much about the tar. In other areas and different photos you might look at here, in particular there's one photo with a red line around it. You'll notice the white aluminum siding coming down towards the green terracotta, and there's about an inch gap there. It's hard to tell in the photos. You have to be on the roof higher looking down, but in the photos it may not look like an inch, but it's about an inch. And in that gap over the years, birds try to make nest, bees try to make nest. There gets to be a buildup of miscellaneous leaves and straw and pine needles, a constant problem. And again, the right way to do it is to tear it all apart and put it back together again with no gap and make things very tight. But the homeowner didn't want to go through that expense, so instead we put some roof cement there, which admittedly not the best way to do it, but very inexpensive and definitely gets rid of the gap. And if a bird steps there now who gets stuck to the tar, he ain't going no place. Other birds will see him there stuck and avoid it, and good for the damn bird. Teach him a lesson. But this will solve that problem to a degree. Also, in some of the photos near the end, you'll see the snow guards, which look kind of interesting on this job. But you'll notice a lot, or the majority of tiles, not the word majority, the largest percentage of tiles are broken all around these snow guards. It looks to me like these snow guards were definitely put in later on. They're not original to the roof. They were not put in the right way, was not done by us. And you can tell by all the cracking and breakage that somebody did a no-no. That's a nice way of saying they did something bad. That's also a nice way of saying I'm not going to curse on this public forum here. So anyhow, we spent a number of days there playing games. And the other issue on a job like this, you could damage the roof more just walking on it. You could also slide off the roof, fall down, bump your head, die and shit, and that messes up my whole day. We're not going to worry about your day too much. So anyway, you got to be really careful. You can get hurt on these jobs. You could damage your roof, etc. So yes, obviously, we repair these kinds of roofs. The biggest issue is having tiles to use in order to do the repairing. These tiles are made in different areas all around the world. These tiles might be made in foreign countries, shipped by boat to California, and then a train and then truck and get to where they got to go. Can be quite expensive. Oftentimes, when these homes are built, they order extra tiles in the very beginning and they're kept in the garage or basement for decades and decades, or maybe 100 years until they're needed. So you have the exact proper tile. These tiles can be off by 1/4 of an inch, more or less, although they may look similar. But when you start putting in multiple tiles in a row, if each one's off 1/8 of an inch even, or 1/4 inch, and you put 4 tiles on in a row, now you're off by 1/2 inch, and you can't have that. They're not going to line up. It's not going to work. They're not going to go in. So you need to have the exact tile. And if you don't have any of these tiles, and they're coming from Malaysia or India or somewhere around the world, or for that matter, if you're lucky, maybe they make them somewhere here in the United States, trying to find the exact tile is very, very difficult and very expensive to have them shipped to you. And it turns out they're the wrong tile to begin with, and oftentimes you can't return them. On top of that, you have to buy a minimum of these tiles. You can't just buy 1 or 2. So these reasons, if you have a Spanish tile roof, if you want it repaired even remotely the correct way, you better have some tiles in stock from previous. If you have to get new tiles, we never get involved ordering new tiles because the odds are extremely good they're going to come in wrong. Now we're stuck with your tiles that we got to pay for, and you don't want them, and neither do we. We can't return them. So we always tell people, if you don't have the tiles, you order the tiles, you pay for the tiles, you get them here. If they're right and you're lucky, which is doubtful, we will then charge you to install them. But this way, if the tiles come in wrong, it's your expense, not mine. Have a pleasant day.